Assalamualaikum, my name is Fatina Joana Jiha and my partner Muhammad Musta'al bin Aizadin. We will present the factor that influence students' academic performance during online distance learning among UiTM's Remban 3.
For the research background, students' academic performance is essential to ensuring that the nation's future leaders and labor force are of the highest caliber and hence responsible for its economic and social advancement, quoted by Ali Asatra in 2009. So, there are 4 factors influence students' academic performance during online learning in this research. They are active learning, peer influence, internet facilities and platform, and class attendance. The aim of this study was to investigate how factors such as active learning, peer influence, internet resources and platforms, and class attendance influence students at UiTM Seremban's academic performance during online learning.
Next, I will expand on the problem statement. When the coronavirus outbreak of 2019 started in China, in December, it was a worldwide catastrophe that spread at the speed of the light. So the COVID-19 epidemic has impacted many more than 1 billion students, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization UNESCO 2020. This prevents Malaysian citizens, particularly students, from continuing their studies. However, some major hurdles and problems are being handled during Movement Control Order, which we call MCO, by university students in order to improve their academic performance in online distance learning courses. A well-functioning online learning environment requires a high level of interaction and community building, especially in learning environments that emphasize collaborative and also the exploratory learning. This research will concentrate on the factors influence students' performance during the online class on the students of UiTM Seremban 3.
So, this is the part for research questions, RQ, and research objectives, RO. So, for the RQ, we have 5 of them. First, what is the relationship between the attendance to students' performance based on student achievement among students in UiTM Seremban 3? Second, what is the relationship between active learning to students' performance based on student achievement among students in UiTM Seremban 3? The third one is, what is the relationship between peer influence to students' performance based on student achievement among students in UiTM Seremban 3? Number 4 is, what is the relationship between accessibility internet facilities and platforms to students' performance based on student achievement among students in UiTM Seremban 3? The last one is, which are the most significant impacts of active learning, peer influence, accessibility internet facilities and platforms, and attendance to students' performance among students in UiTM Seremban 3.
Conceptual framework. For the conceptual framework, we can see the direct relationship between 4 independent variables, which include active learning, peer influence, internet facilities and platform, and class attendance between the dependent variable, which is students' academic performance during online learning. The hypothesis for the independent variables for active learning, HO1, is that there is no significance between active learning and the students' academic performance during online learning, while HA1, there is a significance between active learning and students' academic performance during online learning. Independent variables peer influence, for HO2, there is no significant relationship between the peer influence and students' academic performance during online learning, while the HO2, there is a significant relationship between peer influence and students' academic performance during online learning. And the independent variables for the Internet Facilities and Platform, HO3, there is no significant relationship between Internet Facilities and Platform and students' academic performance during online learning. HA3, there is a significant relationship between Internet Facilities and Platform and student academic performance during online learning. And the last one, the class attendance, HO4, there is no significant relationship between class attendance and students' academic performance during online learning. While HA4, there is a significant relationship between class attendance and the students' academic performance during online learning.
Research will be carried out by cross-sectional study to discover factors that influence students' academic performance during online distance learning (ODL) among UiTM Seremban T3 students. The questionnaire was distributed in order to complete this research about the students' perception towards factors that influence students' academic performance during online distance learning. For this research, data is relevant to use around 150 respondents, and we also conducted a convenient sampling, but a final and valid sample to 130 students that represent 87% of response rate. Statistical analysis was performed with SPSS version 28, and Pearson correlation and multiple regression were used to test the proposed model.
Next is about main finding. Here is the demographic profile, which is to analyze the profile of the respondent. As we can see here, the majority of the respondents come from the female respondent with 56.9% and its frequency 74 respondents, while the age of the 22 years and above have the highest percentage of 70% with the frequency 91 respondents. For the detail of the faculty, FSPPP have the highest percentage, 53.1% with its frequency 69 respondents. While the current academic undertaking, degree has the highest percentage than diploma with 7.9% with frequency 100 respondents. Next, the GPA before the MTO, most of the respondents good, 3.50 and above with 43.1% with frequency 56 respondents. And lastly, the GPA after MTO, the GPA of 3.01 to 3.49 have the highest percentage with 4.9% with the frequency 61 respondents.
For the hypothesis testing, we were using Pearson correlation or the R sign to indicate the strength of the relationship between the variables. So, the first variable is active learning and got 0.786 value in Pearson correlation, and the range is strong relationship because it is more than 0.6. Same goes for variables name, internet facilities and platform, and attendance that got more than 0.6, range around 0.666 and 0.638. However, for peer influence, it is range between 0.41 to 0.60 that name moderate impact towards dependent variable. For the most significant factor, we use beta value where it shows that the first variable named active learning got the highest value for 0.7672 compared to other variables.
The research implication. The research is important because it provides sufficient and reliable information to various parties on the influence of online distance learning on student academic performance among students at UiTM Seremban 3. So here, as a consequence of this researcher has identified the possible participants who will be affected by our research.
Next is limitations of study. This first limitation consists the variables used in the study as it limited to 4 variables only. Therefore, it is difficult to obtain an accurate data regarding responding variables. As the researchers do the research study based on 4 independent variables, and they are also the factors that influence students' academic performance during online distance learning (ODL) among UiTM Seremban 3 students. Furthermore, due to the students basically still on the hybrid mode for the studies, it is difficult for usage to distribute our questionnaire to all three faculties, which include FSPPP, FSKM, and FSR. So it can only distribute the questionnaires through social media platforms, such as through WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and Telegram. The third one is the quantitative method. We use quantitative method questionnaires. Some of the respondents may interpret the question presented in a way that differs from the content intended by the researcher. If more people understand the context differently, it will lead to skewed results or irregularities. The last one is the data collection method. The time for collection data is limited. However, this method is not entirely appropriate as it collects information from respondents randomly based on who is available.
In conclusion, all objectives and hypotheses were met. Active learning, peer influence, internet facility and platform, and class attendance all are positively affect academic success at UiTM Seremban 3. The most important independent variable is active learning. These four variables can affect online distance learning student success at UiTM Seremban 3 in Negeri Sembilan. That's all from us. Thank you.